Hey folks, I just wanted to give you a little update on that Shed With Me that I had promised the day after Wednesday or Thursday or something last week. I ran into some major technical issues, and the big problem that I had, this thing right here, the Zoom, audio that comes out of it, or the clock that's in it or whatever, is just kind of wonky. So when I was, trying to sync up the video, the long video, and mind you, this thing is an hour and a half long. When I was trying to sync up what I recorded in the computer with what I recorded on the Zoom, there was always this little kind of floating difference between, what got picked up on the Zoom versus what got picked up whenever I played the keyboards versus whenever I pressed play in Logic. And it was just kind of this weird floating difference. And as a result, what I had to do was go through the whole thing. And mind you, you see this project is 2,600 bars long. I had to go through the whole thing. Let me hide this because we don't need that. There we go. I had to go through the whole thing, and basically every time that I press play in Logic in the original video, or I play the sax, I have to chop it and nudge it. So just to kind of show what I'm talking about, let me find a little spot where this happens. Let's see. So if we go all the way back to the beginning, you'll notice like I had to make a little cut here and nudge this. You'll notice this difference that happens here between, and this is what was recorded by the computer. So if I, press play right here, you'll hear that little kind of sound. And that's because, the sound, for whatever reason, the Zoom was like recording later or earlier. So I ended up having to go, and mind you, this is all lined up with like the very first, as soon as I press play in the computer, that you can see like that's perfectly lined up. So, that means that all this stuff is supposed to be lined up. But as soon as I, played my horn or whatever, this ended up not being lined up. And then, that ended up affecting all of this stuff over here. You can even see that kind of moves a little bit. And if I go even further, if I actually extend this across and compare this position, you'll see that like even this needed to be nudged a little bit. What I had to do was go through the entire project, and anytime the audio from the computer did not line up with the Zoom, I had to just chop and nudge. And like I said, this is super long. And then not only that, like every time I say something and I'm playing, like right here, let's see what's going on.
So G, F, C, A.
Because things were out of sync, it's not that they're out of sync. It's whenever I press play in the computer, I don't want to hear this sound.
So
I don't want to hear that audio or this terrible audio. This is not what I want to hear, when I have these two guys playing at the same time and I disable the side chain. I don't know if you're friends with me on Facebook, you may have seen a post where I was like, hey, what's a quick way to duck these things and whatnot. Anyway, that's like this sound. You can hear like there's a little weird flanging thing going on with the cymbals and whatnot. So what I had to do is, turn on this ducking, so that way whenever there's audio coming from ScreenFlow or from the saxophone, it ends up muting the Zoom audio. So you can see that happening here. Like check out this. Check out this fader right here. Here's the Zoom audio, and you can see once this plays, the Zoom audio just jumps down here. I'll pull up these. I ended up doing like 2 sidechain based compressors that, if you watch the meter, check out how much they drop the signal level. Right, so it's just cutting that level as much as possible, just doing like a ducking thing, and I had to get it, basically to be silent. But then I was like, wait a minute, if I start doing that, I'm going to lose all my dialogue for all of the times where I'm actually talking like this, where I'm talking while I'm playing.
Okay. So G, F.
Right? And so that means I had to go through the whole thing and find all that stuff and set it on its own track so ducking doesn't happen. Right, you can hear it getting ducked right there.
So G, F,
but then it doesn't get ducked here.
C, A, F, E.
On saxophone, that is And then when it was all done, well, once that was like totally lined up, then I could, export everything. And now I have to go back into ScreenFlow because that's where I do all my editing because I'm just too lazy to learn how to do Premiere. Every time I had to shift the ScreenFlow audio, I have to go in here and let me scroll up over and see a spot. So basically, you know how I did nudge all those little regions? Let me zoom out a little bit. Since I have this, you can see where I've done some edits already. I have this corrected audio file on the bottom. This is what was exported out of Logic. And now I'm just, basically I have to go through and every time I did one of these cuts in Logic, like a cut like this where I nudge it over a little bit, in ScreenFlow, I have to do the same thing. I gotta split this, and I just have to move this guy like one frame over. And then there's, I just have to go through the whole thing every time there's audio playing. So you can see that there's a frame of difference. So we shift that there and then we go like that. And now that's like perfectly lined up. So, and I have to do this, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. So, that's why I'm taking the time to do this because I don't want to put out, crap material. And unfortunately, that means I have to go through this entire thing for it to be synced up with this because now this is like actually correct. And this is going to be cool when it's, all said and done. You go there. And now you guys go here. So that way, when this is all said and done, you're going to see a video. Oh. You're going to see a video that's kind of like this.
I'm articulating kind of hard right here.
Oh, and all this is...
That could just be the EQ and reverb. We're not sure.
All this ends up being muted.
And more of that. More of the Grace Note, bendy type stuff.
All right, so that's why this is taking a really long time. I thought I would be able to just knock it out, but the end result is that I'm probably going to stop using the zoom and end up, my wife has a Nikon D3300. I'm going to buy one of these guys right here, this Ultra Thunderbolt recorder thing, and pair it with with her camera, and then I'll be able to actually use that as the webcam that I use in ScreenFlow and just be able to record everything direct into ScreenFlow. Basically what I do is I run Ableton in the background to record all audio in MIDI, and then on my other monitor I have Logic running, which is where I can actually play stuff because you can't record in Logic at the same time that you're playing stuff back, so I can like loop sections and whatnot. So yeah, that's what's going on with that. Just wanted to give you guys an inside scoop, but that's really, I'm trying to figure out a way that I can do more videos like this in a really streamlined process, and having to deal with the technical issues that I dealt with this time really made me just, I need to either invest in, invest like a serious chunk of money into some equipment because I got to get the Blackmagic thing. I got to get an actual gimbal, or not a gimbal, like an actual articulated arm to mount the camera so I can position it correctly and whatnot. And just, it's like a $500 investment, and I have to figure out if I want to do that. I would love to keep making more of these videos, but they take a lot of time, and it's like there's a bunch of other channels that are out there doing it, and I'm not sure if it's the kind of thing that I really want to invest the time in. Time and energy and money, So if you guys really like, this type of content, and you guys really want to see this type of stuff, show the support, check out some of my products on my Gumroad page, watch a bunch of my videos so I get just a little bit of the YouTube ad revenue, or, help Brandon and Glenn and myself out. Check out the Mosley mix, check out some of the videos I've done with Brandon, check out some of the stuff I did with Quinell. Yeah, that's, I'm totally freelance, so those kind of things are the ways I'm able to support this hobby, so to speak, outside of gigging and whatnot. I'm at the point now where I've got about 6,400 YouTube subscribers, which is awesome. I was definitely not expecting to grow this to that point, but it's the point where if I keep developing stuff, it's going to keep growing, but I'm not really going to get get like a return from it. So, you know, in order for me to like really invest in this type of content, I need some help. So that's basically what I'm asking for right now, is if you guys can help me out and, you know, go to my website and check out some of the stuff that I have, get some of the master classes, or for this video that is going to be, you know, I'm going to put it up for free. It's going to be a donate thing. If you go to like gumroad.com/mattcatmusic, if we go to this thing and you see it's got 0+, name a fair price. You can put 0 for free, or, you know, say you wanted to just toss me $10. So you do that, and then I end up getting $10 out of it, you know, from your awesome donation. So like I said, this video, which is, as you can see here, it's going to be 1 hour and 25 minutes long, and I literally go through the entire song. I'm going to put it up for free because, you know, people have been asking for that kind of stuff, and it's something that I want to give back. And I think it's going to, you know, help a lot of people that are curious about what kind of stuff I play and the type of stuff that they might be able to get away with on their gigs and still not be like, oh, that dude's just playing like pure jazz. Oh, he's not playing the right kind of stuff. We're not going to call him anymore. You know, I feel like there's a lot of musicians out there who, you know, they're in those situations where they only know how to play a certain type of genre. And when they get called for other stuff, like say they get called for a wedding gig or a pop gig and they're asked to solo on a tune like Dock of the Bay, you know, they're going to go straight Cannonball Adderley or, you know, or straight John Coltrane. And that's totally inappropriate for a song like that. I feel like videos like this are going to help those type of musicians know what kind of stuff they should play and what kind of stuff works and what kind of stuff doesn't work. And I feel like that's the kind of content that I want to be able to create. And like I said, you know, it's a pretty significant investment of time and energy on my part, as well as the equipment. So, you know, if the demand is there, I'm going to put in the time to do it. But, you know, I definitely need help in that regard. Happy wife, happy life. And if I'm spending a bunch of money and my time and on this stuff, that results in an unhappy wife. So I'm sure those of you that are married can get on board with that. So yeah. Anyway, this is a bit of a rant. I just kind of wanted to help you guys understand why that thing hadn't been released yet, even though I did record it like that same day, and I figured I'd be able to get it edited in time. Okay, that's enough ranting and rabbling. I'm gonna finish up this edit. As you can see, I got a long way to go. So, but once it's done, you guys are gonna really dig it. It's really thorough. You're gonna learn a lot from it, and it's you know, it's really gonna help your playing and take you guys to the next level. And yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna end this here. Thank you for the support so far on the YouTube channels. Thank you whoever is checking out my stuff or watching videos that have Cordy playing in it and decided, hey, you know what? I really like that app. I want to grab a copy. I'm still developing it. I'm not a fast developer, as I said. I'm, you know, we like just moved. I've been here about a month. We got all of our stuff delivered about 2 weeks or a week and a half after we showed up in Long Beach, and it took me, you know, probably a week or so to get my studio set up so that I could start making music again. And I wasn't able to do any, like, you know, using the keyboard at all, using my MIDI controllers at all to test stuff out in Cordy. So I just kind of had to not do any development on it. And now I finally have that stuff. But yeah, so I have a lot of new features that I've already added, a lot of fixes for bugs and crashes and whatnot. And you know, that it's all gonna get eventually released. And I just want to say thanks to everybody who has bought the app and supported me. Even if you were one of the first people that bought like version 1.0, which didn't have separate windows or anything, or it didn't have you couldn't play scales into it or anything, or it had like a limited chord vocabulary, and you only, you know, and I was like, just, yo, send me $10 via PayPal and I'll send you a zip file. Even those customers, like, thank you guys all for that. And anybody who, you know, grabbed a master class and whatnot, just, you know, thank you guys so much for supporting all that stuff. It really means a lot to me that you think my content is cool enough to check out and that you like the type of stuff I'm putting out. And you think that the stuff I'm putting out is going to help you grow musically. That's really what I want to do. It's just, for me, music has always been about exploring sounds and like, what is something cool that we can play here, and what is something else that is cool that we can play here, and what happens if we play these notes over these notes, and what happens if we play this type of phrase over this type of music. And it's, for me, it's always been about that, which is, I hate to say it, that's probably a reason that I'm never going to cut an album, because for me, recording an album and releasing a product is not something that I want to do. Perhaps going through the process of rehearsing the tunes or sitting with the mixer and learning how to get the type of sounds that I hear on my favorite records in terms of drum sounds, or what was that synth sound that was used, or what was the bass player playing that lined up with what the drums was doing. For me, like, that's way more interesting, and that's what music was always about for me. It has always just been about figuring out those types of things. It's never been about documenting that, documenting a piece of art and releasing it to the world for consumption. It's always just been about, let's figure out some cool sounds and let's see what we can do with them. Let's see if we can play this. Let's see what happens if you play this thing and I play this other thing. What does it sound like? So, yeah. Anyway, I'm kind of ranting and rambling a bit, quite a bit. So I just wanted to, let you guys know why I haven't posted anything in a few days, since I had said I was going to put stuff out the day after I had posted the It Is Well video. All right. Like, subscribe, click the bell notification. Also, thanks to everybody who followed me on Instagram. I have broken 1,000 subscribers. I don't really do too much on Instagram because I have an Android phone, and it's just not easy to transfer stuff from the computer to the phone. It's just not something that I want to invest a lot of time in. I'd rather just focus on YouTube, because that's where my audience is, and that's where I feel like I can teach the most. Okay. All right. I'm going to end this video here because it's been rambling quite a bit. All right. Peace, dudes. Later.